Can you kill someone in self-defense and not go to prison? Nice, easy one here today then. You should never be training anything that has the design to kill somebody. So when we train off the fence, first time they touch the fence, mate, get back, I don't want any trouble. Second time they touch the fence, shove them back with some force, say, fucking stay back or I'll take your head off. Third time they touch the fence, we know it's going to go live, we know it's about to turn physical, so we go first, hit them on the jaw, they fall over, we stamp the ankle, we run. So there's every chance that when you hit them and they go over, they could crack their head, that could lead to death. If you stamp the ankle, we stamp the ankle, of course, to break the ankle so that they haven't got the structure to chase us. There's a chance that a bone chip could get into the bloodstream and clog an artery or go to the heart or whatever. We hear stories of this type of thing. Don't know how accurate they are, but as long as you can prove that you did not intend to kill the person, you will not go to prison. If it was a case of I had said multiple times, please just leave me alone, stay back, stay back, stay back, leave me alone, please. They kept coming, I pushed them back, I said, mate, if you do this, I'm gonna fucking hurt you. They kept coming, I said, mate, seriously, just fuck off before I fucking seriously do you in. They came again, I was trying to leave the entire time, I was trying to get away, he kept blocking my path. I've hit him, he's fallen over, he's bounced his head off a tree, then bounced it off the ground as he's landed. That I don't believe you're going to be held accountable for, because you can prove that you took every step you could to get away. If he hits his head on the tree, hits his head on the ground as he lands, and you then proceed to kick him in, then yeah, you're going to go to prison. If you hit him, stamp the ankle, get away, you're probably not going to go to prison. You're still, look, be forewarned is forearmed. You're still going to have involvement from the police. They're still going to ask you down the station. There's every chance they might charge you with it, but then the charges will get dropped. There's every chance, though, that you are going to have some police involvement. There's every chance you are going to have to go to the station and be interviewed. I would suggest at every turn, comply, be as helpful to the police as you can possibly be. If they do charge you, make sure there's a lawyer present. I'm not saying anything untoward would happen, but if there's legal representation available, then take the legal representation. A quick rule of thumb when it comes to all things legal: it's not what you do that gets you in trouble, it's what you say you did that gets you in trouble. So you might have answered the same question 17 to 20 times, they ask you a 21st time, and you just lose your patience, go, do you know what, I'm glad the fucker's dead because of all the problems he's caused me. The previous 3 hours worth of interview aren't going to make it. It's just going to be the fact that you've said that. That is what is going to, and that's going to hang you. So with a lawyer present, they usually say, write out what happened, sign it, and then when they ask you a question, say no fucking comment, right? Just keep your gob shut. So it's not about trying to get away with something illegal. It's about the fact that if you can prove you did everything possible to avoid the conflict, if the murder or the death has occurred, it's not murder because murder is a specific legal definition, but if you can prove that the death has occurred as a secondary byproduct of what happened, it wasn't the original intent. My intent was to smack this bastard in the face hard enough that I could get the hell away, as he wasn't letting me get away under my own steam. He was doing his best to stop me. He was doing his best to keep me where I was, which of course is illegal in itself. You can't stop somebody from leaving somewhere if they want to go. So he was breaking the law by not allowing me to leave. I had said multiple times, I don't want to fight you, please leave me alone. He was threatening me. I felt I was in danger. I've hit him with a strike. I've done just enough to create a window of opportunity for me to get out. That's what I've done. It's not my fault. Don't say this, but it's not your fault that he's bounced his head. The reason I would not say it's not my fault he bounced his head, that seems very callous. That seems like you don't care, and a judge or a jury will have the whole image of you tainted by that comment. Even though it's not your fault he's died. In that situation, as heartless as it might sound, play silly games, win silly prizes. If you jump into the gorilla enclosure and start slapping at the gorillas, and what a gorilla goes, bump, and breaks your fucking neck, What were you expecting to happen, dipshit? So it's not what we would want. And I mean, luckily, I've never, to the best of my knowledge, I've never been responsible for anybody's death. I can't imagine it's an easy thing to live with. I can't imagine that when you're cleared in court, you go, oh great, yeah, now I'll never think of that ever again. If you live in a small city, or even if you live in a big city, wherever it might be, if somebody dies as a result of you having a fight with them, at some point you're probably going to bump into that guy's family. And they're going to know who you are, and you're going to know who they are, and it's going to fucking hit you. And you're going to be, could I have done something differently? Could I have left when someone told me that guy was on his way, as opposed to waiting for him to show up before I left? Could I have done something to keep my ego in check, where, before I left, was I making eyes at the guy? Was I, whatever? Could I have done something? It's going to stay with you because you're responsible for somebody's life ending. So again, a big part of this is we will act in the way we train. So in our bud, we train everything within the legal realm of the country we are currently in. So if we do the 3 touches, on the 3rd time, the interview's over, then we crack them, then we run. Everything you've done there is perfectly legal. What might happen as a byproduct of that isn't really on you. Again, if you are walking around carrying a fucking knife or an iron bar to use in self-defense because I live in a bad area, that's not a fucking excuse. If you pull the knife for self-defense purposes and someone lands on it and they die, you are going bye-bye for a while, which is why we don't carry fucking weapons. So you can implement self-defense legally. You can, unfortunately, be responsible for someone's death legally and not go to prison. But murder is a different thing entirely because of the legal definition of murder, which I will look up and I will type up under this video. Because I do think sometimes, and it happens, we will interchange words. We think, well, the same, well, what happened here was someone has died. So murder, manslaughter, all the rest of it, it's all the same thing. When it goes to court, it's not, which is why we have to be very, very careful with saying you cannot murder somebody legally. It comes to accidental death, it comes under manslaughter. But the definition of murder, I believe, is if you willingly or knowingly end someone's. I think it's to do with the heartbeat and the brain. I think if there's brain activity in a heartbeat, you stop that willingly. It's murder. I think this is why I'm going to look it up and write. I'm going to write it under the video. So go with what's written, not with what's said. But again, you can end someone's life legally through self-defense without going to prison. But it's not something that we should ever be training for. It's not something we should ever have on the syllabus. It worries me greatly when I see martial arts clubs that will finish demonstrations with, and then we break the neck, and then we rip the throat out. It's horseshit. 1, you've never done that, so you shouldn't be training it as a viable option. 2, you can defend yourself fully without actually having to kill or maim somebody. 3, what level of fucking stupidity does somebody have to think they are training a technique that can kill somebody, but the police haven't rocked up yet to stop it? So anyway, you can defend yourself legally in a way that results in death without you going to prison, but I would be very careful about the handful of techniques that you drill and train on a regular basis anyway. Any questions, comments, queries, suggestions, let me know and I'll try to address them as soon as I can.